Even San Francisco, Park and all that, it's
Yeah.
all set up for that.
Yeah.
Well, look into it.
FLOR, yeah, is one brand.
Park's good. Yeah.
We used to live up there.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So you shoot that flat away.
My
I
kid
killed
just
it.
the other day, he took a turbine yesterday.
No, I killed one.
Solar
I have
panels,
evidence right here.
And universities from all over compete in this.
1, 2, 3, 4, we're here,
Is
right?
that, are we ready for this?
Robert and Sunday are supposed to make it.
Oh, we're going.
You're ready.
We're going here, let's roll here.
Oh.
The question is, do you guys wanna film it?
Actually, the problem is we really need Greg.
Oh, well, then we should.
Yeah.
He's kind of important.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
so
the man
this
of
is-
the hour.
Was it Irvine?
There he is.
It's from all, they go all over. And
Perfect.
they build them at
I know,
their
you're right.
universities.
We're ready.
these
Here he is.
solar homes for companies.
Man of the hour.
They bring them,
Oh, hey.
build them. Yeah.
It gets just horrible.
Ooh.
He wants you to run.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert, guys. Good, how are you?
Anyway, it's Sunday, right? Okay, so we'll call to order. Call to order. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Robert, would you like to lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Steve, we have roll call.
Commissioner Becker? Commissioner Roddick? Commissioner Ittner? Chair Haney?
Here.
Commissioner Basor?
Here.
Vice Chair McCrory Rylander and Commissioner Ford are absent.
Okay, we have a discussion item. This is Sarasota Park Boyd Center remodel project. And I guess we can turn this discussion over to Greg.
Yep, please, Mr. Chair. We'll ask our Public Works Director to come up, and he will share the results of the bid opening, and he will go through that with us and see if the commission has any questions. I'll steal Greg's thunder and give him a moment to find his notes. It's kind of a good news, bad news. The bad news is we probably could have gotten away without holding this meeting, because the good news was that the bids came in at or under budget. However, there's a couple of potential options and some contingencies which might push us potentially over that. So, but we felt it would still be good to go over the project with the commission tonight, since we'd already called the meeting, and see if we have any further thoughts on everything. So,
Pass these out.
Mr. Grant.
These were the bids, if you guys would mind passing those in all directions. So I guess Steve kind of did steal the thunder, you know, because we did have $60,000 budgeted. And we were a little concerned, you know, as we went through with contractors, we had a mandatory pre-bid, and then we had a second one as well. And when we went through with some contractors, they were noticing some tricks, you know, when we looked at the trim boards and fascia boards around that were rotten on the south end of the gym, for instance. We knew about that, and we were planning to have it replaced, and we were gonna go through and do the flashing around it. Well, they were starting to say, well, don't forget, when you pull that flashing, you're going after the roof. Now, look at your roof is so brittle and old that you're gonna start breaking up your roof as you go after it. So next thing you know, we decided that roof was shot, and the skylights, like the seals were pretty well shot. So we decided to go after the whole roof on the south end. And so that happened in a few places. You know, we're doing the multi-purpose room doors. Those need to be replaced, and the one at the director's office was really shot as well. The game room door looked like it could almost make it, but it didn't meet ADA. It wasn't ADA compliant. We've got an ADA compliance plan we're working on throughout the city. So we thought we really should make the handle update the hardware. Next thing you know, by the time you do the hardware, and we're looking at the door being kind of questionable, let's just go ahead and do the door. We're going to do these other doors. So we started pulling all these extra items in, and we really, some of the contractors were saying, you know, you're heading for $100,000 here. And so I guess, you know, with no ado there, you look at the bids we received. Well, one contractor was $114,000 for this job. So we were concerned that we were probably going to be up over 60 somewhere. And then luckily we had two companies coming in at $56,000 and $58,000, which is terrific, because that's right exactly where we budgeted. And so that was good news. We got to make it in at the budgeted dollar amount. And so, yeah, that might in some respects say, hey, we've already got this. We already went through the budgeting. We already went through, reviewed it with you guys even back at some time ago. So I think we're in pretty good shape to stay within budget here. And we broke out, and you've got a copy of the bid, and we have different categories, right? The exterior work. And most of this stuff is really just needed maintenance on the buildings to bring them up to a reasonable standard, you know, to try to keep the doors working properly and take that art room and bring it up. It's kind of a really, it needs to have some kind of acoustical improvements in there to make the sound not echo around so bad in the chambers and things. So that whole art room will look really nice when we're done. We're going to get it fully refurbished, and we'll have nice, I should have brought a sample of this stuff. We were going to use corkboard, but one of the contractors brought up this material. It's a company down out of Ventura called Fabric Mate, and they make this neat kind of a recycled foam material that goes into a frame, and then they stretch all kinds of colored fabrics over it. So it turns out we have a fund which qualifies for any recycling, and we can pull it out of that and not even tap into our budget. So we thought that'd be $3,000 or $4,000. It ended up being $1,000. These guys wash their numbers around between different things quite a bit too. But anyways, we saved a little money in that budget. So we'll have that fabric made on the walls and acoustic ceiling and new paint and cabinets fixed up and so on. We had all the issues up in the front office, right, to bring it up to ADA compliance. So that was an alternate we had. We could do the ramp inside the building or outside with the concrete. And I don't know if I really need this mic on. You guys can hear me just fine. This group. So if you go to the alternates, the first alternate was for, because we really were leaning towards doing the outside ramp in the end, we decided to make the outside concrete ramp part of the base bid. Because sometimes you get a base bid and you get an alternate number that's really high, and somebody gets the base bid, low bid, and then you get paid a lot at the alternate. So, for instance, this guy said that, hey, I really want to do the concrete, so I just gave you a super low deduct. I don't want you guys to do the inside wood. And he said that to us. So he said there'd be $500 deduction to do the inside wood ramp. So really, staff is recommending do the permanent ultimate fix, which is to do a concrete ramp outside on the patio, I don't know what you call that, porch area. And then you have to bring up the doorway a little bit, and then you go into that room, into the front office, and it'll be up, and it'll be the same level as the game room, and you go through the whole building. It's not some interior ramp where you're dealing with it and things. Go ahead, Steve.
Is everybody familiar with the situation there at the office and the ramp and the change in elevation from the game room to the office and the door and the stair and the concern with that?
We're aware of the fact that that building should be torn down and rebuilt. We're very aware of that, but yeah.
Oh, we wanted to save the ceiling tiles though, so we didn't want to go for the full tear down. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody understood that.
So anyways, that made it easy for us. You know, that $500 seems like it's well worth doing the outside concrete ramp. So the next item for the alternates was a new roof on the south. Well, we added that as part of the base. So we had them sign it to make sure it was clear here on the side that included in the base bid. They replaced the ceiling tiles in the multi-purpose room. We were going to pull them all down and paint them. We thought we could save a lot of money. And but in the end, it looked like there's such a mishmash of tiles inside that multi-purpose room to just go ahead and replace them and get all the same type. And a lot of contractors were saying by the time you pull them and paint them and get it back up there, just put new ones in, it's similar cost. So that item is included with the base bid as well. That fabric made, I was saying, can be paid for out of the special recycling fund we have. It won't affect this budget. So the only thing that was left was these two solar tubes. You know, we were considering putting them in the office up front, solar tubes. And for the cost, $2,300 or so, it just appeared to be really a little difficult to justify. You know, you save a little bit in the power. And so I see Robert nodded his head because you're accustomed to these things too. So they're interesting. We've got some around the offices here, and they provide a nice natural light and so on. But they're hard to justify just based on your energy savings. And it seems to be we've got them in the buildings here. We've got solar tubes and lights on. So
Greg and I walked into the copying room there, which has solar tubes in there, and of course we walked into the room and I said, "What just happened, Greg?" Because the automatic lights came on. So it's, you know, it's a great concept, but as we found even in this building, I don't think they're always fully effectively used.
What size solar tubes are these?
there were 14-inch tubes. Yeah. they weren't the full commercial, you can go to huge 21-inch tubes and things, but yeah.
Another option that's out there right now is LED. And you're getting good cost back from Southern California Edison
Yeah.
for that right now too. So that might be a future thing that you look at, is by retrofitting. I think because all your T12s and all that have to be changed out to T8s, I think.
We've got all T8s already,
So
you
you
know,
are.
yeah, so these would be T8s. But yeah, maybe we'll talk with them, and I don't know if you know of a good fixture that's something in this
Yeah,
style or what otherwise, good for good dispersion.
It's called Titan Lighting out of Moore Park.
Okay,
And they're really pushing a few products out, and we've got them now in all of our ICU rooms at the hospital. They work so well. And it gives a really good, not like a fake light, it gives a really good, like a sun, like natural lighting. So,
and you get a rebate from SCE on that as well?
we do.
Okay. So we'll take a look at that, see if it'll go, yeah. So I guess all in all, we don't add the solar tubes, we don't do the deduct for the interior ramp, and we land up with a $55,944. So if you, at the $60,000 budget, we're still $4,000 below, so we've got a little bit of room there. We're still recommending to you and to the council that we have a 15% change order flexibility for stuff that we might run into out there. But yeah, because you just don't know when you peel roofs off and everything what you might run into.
That was
So-
one of my questions that had contingencies. What are you gonna do when you open a wall? So you
Yeah.
wanna budget 15 to 20%?
We've got, I was trying to keep a little tight, 15%. We've gone through it pretty carefully, but you never know. It's true when you pull everything apart. It's so most of these we've dug into a fair amount. Yeah, we feel comfortable. But 15% will give us an allowance of, what is that anyways? About $9,000. We've already got $4,000 in this budget and a touch extra if necessary.
So you have about 13,000 total with the extra.
Well, I guess the 15 is above the contract. Yeah.
This is your contingency.
Mm-hmm. That's where we planned it right now, and I guess so I think the 9,000 will work. If we get in a real jam, we'll have to address that at the time, but that's a pretty substantial amount. I hope it won't go there. So I think that's kind of the basic layout. I mean, I think it's all positive, and sorry if we called you in here needlessly, but we were getting concerned with a few of the contractors saying, no way you're going to get this for 60. You're going to be up in the 80 to 100 range, and a few of them were.
Dodgers are losing, or I would have said.
So Greg, have you used this company before?
No, I haven't. I know the Ventura Unified School District has used them, so they have a good reference there. There is a company that was a close second bidder, but they had irregularity in their bid. And they've probably a little bit more reputable. I think this guy's he's a smaller outfit, and he's got the connections with the school district and so on. But he is going to be doing a lot of the work himself, and with he's subbing out and doing a lot of work himself with a small crew he has. So I think it'll be a lot of work on weekends and weekdays, and I think Saf and Stephen already talked about this, that it'll be weekends, which seems to work okay with what activities you have going there.
So we don't have a premium for weekends or anything like that? He's got that figured in?
He's doing prevailing wage, so he's got to pay his guys at prevailing wage. Owners don't have to pay themselves prevailing wage. Obviously, he gets to avoid that.
That's probably what he's gonna.
Yeah, do a lot of work himself. And then, but the schedule is he has 60 days to be substantially complete, and then another 30 to finalize other items that might be delayed, a door delivery and things like that. And then he starts getting a daily penalty of, I think it's $150 a day as we put in there. So that usually gets people moving.
So you've set aside 60 and you need us to approve another 10? Is that what we're here for?
Really, it's just I want to review what we're planning here and what we're planning to take to the council for approval and see, certainly appreciate your support and recommendation of this plan.
Well, Greg, is there any need to address the question about if we go with if we use the contingency that takes us above the 60,000? Do you have money in Fund 31 that can be applied to that, or are we looking perhaps for the commission to potentially give it's okay to use some of our extra funds that we were able to save from last year? The 50,000 that we have in the bank that's not allocated for anything yet.
At this point, I guess we'd be at, if right now we go the contract with 15% for a change order, so we'd be looking at, I think we said it's
Like
roughly
64.
$9,000, right?
Right,
So we've already got 4 available to Fund 31.
right.
In Fund 31, it's recognized that the funding for Fund 31 has all different areas it comes in from, all kinds of special funds, you know. And so that would be ideal if we said, hey, if you have to use so it's an extra $5,000 if we have to go there. Feeling pretty solid, but I think if anybody knows, Robert's a facility guy, and we all have remodeled tons of stuff.
$60,000 is, I think we should stay there, but I think our contingency should be based on the $60,000 to give you a little bit more in case something, you don't know what you're gonna open up when you get in. You could have leak areas, you could have a lot of termite damage, you could have everything. And you know, I would recommend that. I don't know how the city, how the council feels, but it's better to have a little bit, 20% contingency on that or something to keep you in line with what's going on out there in the industry right now is 18 to 22, so.
Right. Sometimes I shoot for 20, but I know if we're tight, I just say, okay, we'll keep it at 15.
It is
and
hard
it's, yeah.
sometimes and everything, but you end up using that 20%.
Right.
So.
So anyways, yeah, I think that we'd appreciate a recommendation from the Parks and Recs Commission supporting, you know, the contract that we're moving ahead with, and also the contingency. And if you could support also that, we just figure out roughly 5,000 if necessary, and we can inform you as soon as possible if that's necessary. But I would hate to hold it up. Yeah, we want to keep moving along, especially with the rainy season.
My gut says instead of 5,000 out of that 51 is to allocate 10,000 out of it, just for, just to be on the safe side. That way you don't have to come back to anybody.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't spend it, you don't spend it. It's not
Terrific.
spent. But if there's something that happens when you open this door, or open this wall, or
Mhm.
open that ceiling, you know, you can get it done right.
So that would give you a contingency of 14,000 total?
Mhm.
The 4,000 that you saved and the 10 from the, okay.
Sounds great. I appreciate your trust in that territory, and I think it'll be a really nice building. We're looking at kind of a full facelift is a good
Well, the
term, but
amount
it's
of
like
stuff
a,
that you're gonna get done for the value, what you're getting is pretty darn good.
yeah. I think we're looking at, we'll be pretty relatively proud of that building for the next 5-10 years, and we should still be looking for things in the
I don't know
future.
if we go 5-10 years, but at least a year or two, so.
It'll be a historical building.
That's why it's gotta get torn down before that happens. Yeah, so do we need to make a motion? Steve?
Yes,
Is that what
it
we
would
need
be
to do?
appropriate for the commission to make a motion if they're
Okay,
ready to do so.
Anyway, anyone wanna tackle that?
Well, I motion that we recommend to council to accept the lowest builder, Dillon and Company, and to allocate $10,000 from our $50,000 of unallocated money for a contingency, and to continue to maintain the extra 4,000 that didn't go to the bid as contingency as well, for a total contingency of 14,000.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
That was not totally clear, Steve. Are you good?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I think
Did we get it all?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the intent was clear.
All right, well, thanks for the support.
Okay.
We'll look forward to getting it done.
Right, great, thank you.
Fastest
Paul, do you
meeting
wanna
ever.
say anything, or,
Thank you, guys.
okay?
Adjourned.
Go home.
There we go.
We're gonna make dinner.
Quick, done.
It's because Sundays